Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video I have 4 frog inspired DIYs basically, which will be good for like back to school or like office supplies, whatever you want to use them for. They're going to be great. They're just 4 little DIYs. I have a few more ideas, so I may make a part 2 to this, I'm not sure, but yeah. Before I get stuck into it, I do want to say a huge thank you to the response on my last video, obviously putting some things onto my new Etsy store. The response was fantastic, thank you. All your orders have been shipped already. There is also only 9 days to go to pre-order your shrimp enamel pin, which is my first ever piece of merch, and I'm doing that through Kickstarter, so I will leave all of that information down in the description for you to check out. I would love it if you pre-ordered. You also get free stickers and all sorts when you pre-order, so that is going to be, you know, amazing. So yeah, hopefully you can support me on that, and yeah, I'm just gonna get straight on into the video and actually stop talking. So for the first DIY, I actually used this little cardboard box, which was for my Kinder Happy Hippos. Does anyone else love these? These are probably like my favourite snack of all time, like of all time. Anyway, so you need a piece of cardboard, and I used this box because it was just in my recycling because I cannot stop eating Happy Hippos, and the inside of this was white, so I was able to colour it in really well, so that's why it worked out really well. But I just cut 2 strips down the same sort of size, around about 2 inches wide, and I don't know, around about 6-7 inches long. I then cut those out and coloured them in 2 different shades of green. So I had a really nice lime green and then quite a light green, and then I just sellotaped them together, cutting down any of the edges to make sure they were both the exact same shape. Once I had the 2 pieces taped together, I then cut the rounded edges off the top to make the frog eyes, and then I covered the whole thing in tape, making sure to cut off any excess. I then used a Sharpie pen just to draw on some eyes and a little like mouth, nose kind of thing going on, and I used different expressions on both sides. So I did a line for the first one and then just 2 dots for the second. This is going to make an excellent bookmark. As you can see here, you could just pop it in any page, just use it, and you have a little frog face sticking out, and both expressions are going to be slightly different as well, which I really liked. Moving on to the second DIY, this one here is probably my favourite. I just love how this one's turned out. You just wait till you see these. So I took some paper clips. These are just regular metal paper clips. Took a small ball of polymer clay and popped that onto the end where there's only like a single bit of paper clip, not the one with the 2 bits on the end. This is important so you can still use it as a paper clip. And I just popped that on, cut 2 sections out of the top, and then removed that middle section in order to make the frog shape. I then just rounded it out with my fingers, and I also used a dotting tool to do the same thing. Like I said, you could use whatever tools you want to use, but this is what I use. So like you see here, I'm just using my scissors, making 2 little cuts, and then removing that middle part and just rounding it all off to make the frog head shape. If you find your polymer clay isn't sticking to the paper clip very well, or you want to ensure a really good secure bond, you'll also want to just, you know, use that clay, mould it around the paper clip on the bottom a little bit more. So I did 3 paper clips in total, and once they were all sculpted and everything, I baked them in the oven at 110 degrees Celsius for 20 minutes. Once out and cooled down, it was then time to paint. So I used 3 different green coloured acrylic paints, and in order to paint them, this is the tip and trick you need to use. You just want to take a surface. I use ceramic tiles because it's like a great base, and I use some blue tack to kind of keep them in place so that I'm able to paint the fronts and the backs of all of my shape at a time. I use this on all my polymer clay kind of DIYs. The blue tack trick works perfectly because you're able to paint the whole thing without touching them loads and getting dust on them. It's just brilliant. A really good tip to use. So as you can see, I'm painting one of mine in a light green, a dark green, and then a lime green, just to make them all different. You could obviously use the same colour green if you want to, or just mix in some whites if you don't have a whole load of green paint like I seem to weirdly have. But yeah, you just want to make sure that they are nice and fully opaque when you paint them. I did 3 layers of acrylic paint in total so that they were nice and covered. Once all of that paint had dried, I then needed to paint on the expressions. So in order to do that, I just used a Posca paint pen once again, and I just drew on the little faces. I also forgot that I dropped my paint on that little bit of cardboard and it went everywhere. I then dropped a pencil in it. It was a mess, and yeah, trust me. To be honest, you could probably just use Posca paint pens on this if you have them, just colour them all in, but I just use the paint pens to draw the faces on because I find it a lot quicker. Once the paint pen had fully dried, I then used some UV resin and a little craft paintbrush and just coated the top frog part in the UV resin and baked it underneath my UV light. This nail lamp is from Amazon. It works perfectly. I used to use a little LED UV torch from Amazon, which was great. So if you don't have a nail lamp, I need like an alternative, a little torch from Amazon, a UV torch. Usually costs about £6 and it's a great cheap alternative. I used it for years. But yeah, look at them in there baking away. This is what they turn out like, nice and super shiny. You're able to just clip them onto anything you want. I've just clipped them onto the top of my notebook here so that you can see them. They're just so cute. Look at their little faces, and then from behind they look cute as well. Oh my goodness, just love them. So moving on to the third DIY, this is going to be like another type of bookmark, but like a felt corner bookmark. I don't know if you've seen these before, but I see these on like Pinterest all the time, and I thought a frog one would be really cool. So I took another bit of that Kinder cardboard and I drew myself out a template on the corner of it, just making a kind of semicircle with 2 semicircles on top just to make the little frog head. I then used that template, drew around it on my wool felt. This is just a little scrap piece that I had left over from another project. I think I made cactuses from this ages and ages and ages ago, but I cut this shape out and then I laid it down onto my felt again and cut around that shape so I had 2 pieces identical in size and shape. Basically, I probably didn't even need to use the template, but it will make it easier if you just want to cut one piece at a time and then use the template and cut another piece at the same time, or make multiple, then it's definitely going to help out. But yeah, this is what you get kind of left with, this weird shape. You want to take some needle and thread or just some glue if you want to glue it. I like to stitch mine because I thought it would look cuter and add a little bit of extra decoration. So I took a darker green shade of thread. I did have the same kind of colour, but I thought this would give a cute handmade feel, and I just did some simple stitching all the way around that right angled kind of corner. Once I had stitched it all the way around, like I said, you can glue it if you want to. You'll then need to put the face on. So I used acrylic paint to do mine because obviously I'm not going to be washing it. It's not going to be squished or anything, so acrylic paint will work just fine. So I just took a little bit on the template and using a dotting tool, I just painted that on. So I started with white, making 2 circles in like the little eye bits, making sure that they were kind of nice and big, swirling, twirling around that paint onto the felt. This technique of like twirling the metal dotting tool works really well because sometimes like the fibers and stuff can stick up, so you want to be quite heavy-handed with your paint just to kind of flatten them all down. Once I had the white on, I then used a black just to make the pupils, and I made them quite big on this one because obviously I had the white with the black. This isn't the face I used on any of the other 2, but I just used on this one and thought it looks so cute, so I do use it on my next one. But yeah, pupils looking adorable, and I also did 2 little, I think these are nose dots. I did 2 little nose dots on the front as well. So obviously this is going to be acting as a bookmark, but to use this one you just kind of like pinch it and then just pop it on the corner of your page. Look at that, brilliant. It looks so cute, right? I just love these. So for the 4th and final design, I actually just made a little frog eraser. I've had this eraser clay probably for around about 2-3 years, I don't know, it's been in my drawer, and I had this little green bit in here and I thought, oh, I can make a frog eraser. So that's what I did. I think I got this from Amazon, like honestly years ago. It's not in the best condition. It needed a lot of kind of molding and conditioning to get it to work right, but I got it there eventually, and I'm happy to have finally used up some of that green clay. So I took a small bit, I conditioned it like I said, and then I rolled a larger ball of it into a kind of circle, took a little bit extra conditioning, kept having to roll it, but I got there in the end. I then flattened this ball until it was like kind of a flattened sphere, and then taking another small bit of that eraser clay, I just made 2 small identical balls, kind of flattening them a little bit as well in between my fingers, and then I attached it onto that original kind of shape. To blend that in and make sure it wasn't going anywhere, I actually used a dotting tool just to kind of blend those 2 pieces together, just very lightly pressing one piece into the other just to make sure that they didn't fall off. I baked this in the oven for 30 minutes at 110 degrees Celsius, and then once it was out and cooled down, I then decorated the piece like I would a polymer clay charm. So I decorated mine with acrylic paint. I've had great success with this in the past. It does peel off eventually, just like kind of the prints and stuff on erasers do anyway, but it just usually peels off in one bit and it causes no harm. It just takes a little while and it does come off, but you know, I thought it'd be worth putting on anyway. So I painted on the two eye bits in the white acrylic, and then painted on a little belly because I thought that would be adorable. I then used my Posca paint pen to draw two little nose bits and then a mouth, and then I went back in once all of that white acrylic paint had dried and used a little bit of black for the pupils inside of the eyes. Once that had dried, my eraser was then complete and ready to be tested, so I just wrote out Frogs Forever because I didn't know what else to put. And then, look at this. Like, it actually works. Like, the eraser clay, it works really, really well. So I would recommend it if you love working with clay or just want to make some little erasers for someone as a gift. It works great. Sorry, let me know which one of the frog DIYs was your favourite. Mine were definitely these little paper clips, like, especially this little derpy guy. I love him so much. Look how tiny they are. They are so small. I just love them though. So yeah, hopefully you have enjoyed today's video and can check out my Kickstarter. Like I said, there's only 9 days to go. It's more like 8 now. But yeah, hopefully you will check it out and pre-order a pin, get yourself some free stickers along with it. Thank you so much for watching today, and I will see you very soon for another video. Bye!